This is SAT test, and it's the math section. It has 27 questions. So this is the first question. 10% is 0.1. And we can write in this form, and we're going to multiply that by this number. So 10 over 100 times 4, 7. This 0 and this will cancel out, and this 0 and this 0 will cancel out. And we are left with 47. And the answer is right here. Let's move on to the next question. For this question, based on the multiple choice, you know that they are looking for the value of 7x. Therefore, we're going to take this one over to the right side, and we have 7x is equal 22 minus 8. Therefore, 7x is equal 22 minus 8 is 14. And the answer is right here. Let's move on to question 3. We have a word problem, and it's about a bike for rent. And the rate of the rent is $12 per an hour, and there is a service fee on top of that. And Michelle is a student, and she wants to rent a bike for 3 hours, and she wants to spend no more than $82. Which inequality represents that situation? Okay, let us set up the equation. The rate of the bike is $12. And if you keep that bike for 3 hours, you're going to multiply by 3 plus $30 service fee. And she's going to pay 36 plus 30. That's how much she's going to pay if she keeps the bike for 3 hours. So the equation is we have a service fee, which is independent of the time, plus the rate, which is $12, times the number of hours she keeps that bike, which is represented by T. So you're going to multiply the rate by the time. So the total of these two should be equal or less than $82. So the total should be equal or less than $82. That's how you set it up. Let's go through the multiple choices. And remember, you're going to keep in mind the process of elimination. You're going to eliminate 2 out of the 4 multiple choices. Choice A does not have the service fee, so we're going to eliminate that one. Choice C does not have the rental fee. Get out of here. We have B and D to choose from. For B as a boy, you look at here. The service fee is independent of the time. You cannot multiply the service fee and the time. So we're going to eliminate choice B. We have service fee here, which is independent, which is constant. If you keep the bike for 2 hours, or if you keep it for 19 hours, the service fee is going to be the same. And the rental rate should be multiplied by the time. So this one is correct. And we have the inequality, and we have the amount, which is $82. And the answer is right here. Let's move on to number 4. So question number 4, we have this equation right here, and they're asking the value of x. That gives you this. Let's write down the equation. So we have a g of x is equal x squared plus 16, right? We have the value of g of x, which is 20. So we have 20 is equal x squared plus 16. Now we're going to solve it for x. And so we're going to take the 16 over to the left, and we have 20 minus 16 is equal x squared. And that gives us 4 is equal x squared. And x is equal plus or minus square root of 4, and the value of x is x equal plus or minus 2. And since the multiple choices are all positive values, the answer is right here. Let's move on to question 5. Question 5 talks about fair die, and it has 14 sides from number 1 through 14. And when you roll one time, the total number of outcomes is 14 for all numbers. If you roll one time, what is the probability of getting number 5 on top? So you have 14 different numbers, and each number has only one chance to come on top. So for number 5, you have only one outcome out of 14. So the possible outcome for number 5 is 1 out of 14. And the answer is right here. You have 14 different numbers, and each number has only one chance when you roll the fair die one time. So we have 1 out of 14, and the answer is B. Let's go for question number 6, and this is a conversion problem. You have a printing machine, which prints at a constant rate of 15 pages per minute. And they want you to convert that into pages per an hour. So how do we convert that? We have 15 pages per minute, and we have 60 minutes in 1 hour. So the minute and minute cancel out, and 15 times 60, 10 times 60 is 600, and 5 times 60 is 300. So that's going to give you 900. So we have 900 pages per an hour, and the answer is right here. Let's go to the next question, question number 7. Question number 7, the function f is defined by this equation. What is the value of f of x when x is equal 5? So let's take the equation. We have f of x equal 9x plus 5. When x is 5, we substitute 5 for x. We have f of 5 is equal 9 times 5 plus 5. So f of 5 is equal 9 times 5 is 45 plus 5. F of 5 is equal 50. And the answer is right here. Question number 8. We have a professor here giving his students an assignment with 60 points. The assignment has 2 types of questions. So one type of the questions have 2 points value for each question. And the second type of questions have 6 points for each question. Which equation represents this situation? Where x represents the number of 2 points questions and y represents the number of 6 points questions. Okay, we have an assignment which is 60 points. So we have 2 types of questions. One type of question is represented by x, and each question has the value of 2 points. So we multiply 2 here because x represents the number of questions and each question has the value of 2 plus y questions with 6 points for each question. So y is the number of questions and each question has the value of 6 points. So we multiply 6. So together, when you add the 2, will give you 60 points. Let's go through the multiple choice. Choice A, multiply the questions, and that is not correct. Choice B, if you distribute the 8, it's going to be 8x plus 8y equals 60. So that means all the questions have value of 8 points. And we cross that one. Choice C is the correct answer, and it looks like what we have here, and the answer is right here. Question number 9, write triangles. ABC triangle and DEF triangle are similar, where A and B correspond to D and E. An angle B has a measurement of 55 degrees. What is the measure of E? Let's draw the 2 triangles. This is triangle A, B, and C is similar to D, E, and F. The 2 triangles are right triangles, and the statement says A and B correspond to D and E. So here's A and B correspond to D and E. So when you have a similar triangles, the triangles might not be the same size, but the corresponding angles are congruent, which means the corresponding angles are the same. So angle B, which is this one, has the measure of 55 degrees. So angle B is 55. So angle B, which is in the middle, corresponds to E, which is in the same location. So this angle corresponds to this angle, and it has the same measure. Therefore, this angle is also 55 degrees, and the answer is right here. Question 10 is a system of equations, and the question is, what is the value of x? So to find the value of x, we're going to be using substitution method. Okay, we're going to call this one equation 1, and this equation 2. 9x plus y is equal 5. And we have the value of y here, so we're going to substitute minus 8x for y, and we have 9x plus minus 8x is equal 5. And we have 9x plus into negative is negative 8x is equal 5. So 9x minus 8x is x equal 5. And the answer is right here. And in case they ask you the value of y, you can substitute this into right here. So you get the value of y. Equation 11 is a linear equation graph. And the linear equation slope-intercept has a formula which is written like this: y equal mx plus B. And M is the slope and B is the y-intercept. And if you look at the graph, as x increases, the values of y decrease and the slope of the graph is going to be negative. So M is going to be negative and B, which is the y-intercept, is positive for this graph. The graph touches the y-intercept right here. So the y-intercept is going to be positive. So we're going to look at two things, a negative slope and a positive y-intercept. So let's go through the multiple choices. Choice A has a negative slope. Remember, the coefficient of x is the slope, and we said the slope of this graph is negative. Choice A has a negative slope, but it doesn't have a y-intercept, so we cross that out. Choice B has a positive slope right here, so we're going to cross that. And choice C has a negative slope and a positive y-intercept. The y-intercept is this area around 10, so it's going to be positive 10. So the answer is right here. Okay, let's move on to the next question. We have a graph and the question asks for how many values of x, f of x is equal to 0, which means how many values of x, if you plot right here, would make this 0. So we're going to look at the graph and see how many values x has. So the graph touches the x-axis 3 points. The first one is -1, 4, and 7. So the answer is 3 values. And let's go to the next question. Okay, we have a nice party going on here, and the organizer bought t-shirts and hats for $91. Each t-shirt costs $5, and each hat costs $1. If the organizer bought 10 t-shirts, how many hats did she buy? We have t-shirts times the cost of t-shirts, which is $5 for each, plus the number of hats times the cost of each hat, which is $1, is equal $91, which is the cost of the total of the package. So the number of t-shirts is 10 times 5 plus h times 1, which is the cost of each hat, is equal 91. And here's 50 plus h is equal 91. And if you take the offer to the other side, you have h is equal 91 minus 50. And the number of hats is equal 91 minus 50, 41 hats. Question 14, what is one of the solutions to the given equation? X and X. So we're going to find two numbers. When you multiply, give you -24. When you add, will give you +10. The two numbers are 2 and 12. So 2 times 12 is 24. The smaller number should be negative. So if you add, you're going to get +10. And that is equal to 0. So the first one, x minus 2 is equal to 0, and x equal 2. And x plus 12 is equal to 0, and x is equal -12. They just need one of these solutions. And let's go to the next one. The number of initial bacteria cells is 300,000. And that number doubles every 3 hours. How many cells are going to be there after 15 hours? So we're going to be using this formula. So A is the initial number of the bacteria cells, which is 300. So the number of bacteria doubles or increases by a factor of 2. So that factor of 2 is represented by B. The bacteria cells double every k hours. So K represents the 3 hours and X represents the 15 hours. Y is equal, A is the 300,000 times a factor of 2, which is B. So we have 2 here to the power of X, which is the 15 hours, divided by k hours. So we have 3 here. And we have Y is equal, we can write the 300,000 in a short form, and we have 3 times 10 to the power of 5. And that 5 is the 5 zeros, times 2 to the power of 15 divided by 3 is 5. Y is equal 3 times 10 to the power of 5. 2 to the 5 is 32. 32 here. 3 times 32 is 96 times 10 to the power of 5. And remember, the 5 is the 5 zeros. So we have Y is equal 9600000, 5 zeros. And the answer is right here. Question number 16 is about factoring and exponential powers. So based on the multiple choices, 5x to the 4, we're going to factor out 5x to the 4, y to the 4. And let us see what is left inside the parentheses. 5x to the 10, we took out 5 to the 4, so we have x to the 6 left. And on the other side of the plus sign, we have 10x to the 4, y to the 4. So we took these two out, and we took 5 out of this 10. So we have 2 left here. So let's go through the multiple choices. So choice C has 5x to the 4, y to the 4. And inside the parentheses, it has x to the 6 plus 2. And the answer is right here. Let's go to question number 17. And the question asks what X stands for. We have a village, and that village has a 3-hectare park and 40-hectare residential area. And those two together have a total number of trees, which is 4,150. And they put that into equation right here. And they ask in this equation, what does this X stand for? We have 3x plus 40y is equal 4,150. So this coefficient is the 3-hectare park, and x represents the number of trees per hectare in the park. And the y coefficient is the size of the residential area. So we're going to cross out any choice talking about the residential area. So we have C and D to choose from, and the answer is C because it talks about the average number of trees per hectare in the park. So we have a graph here showing the shares of stock of 2 different companies. Company A represented by X and company B by Y. And they ask which equation represents this situation. So let's see the graph. The graph touches the y-axis right here and the x-axis right here. So for the y-axis, we have 0 for x and 40 for y. And this point here, we have 60 for x and 0 for y. When we use these 2 points, if the right side and the left side of the equation is equal, then that equation represents the relationship. On the right side, we have 480. For the left side, we have 8x, and the x is 0 here. 8 times 0 plus 12 times, we have 40 for y, and we have 0 here, plus 12 times 40 is 480 equal 480. So the right side and the left side of the equation is equal. Therefore, this equation represents the relationship of the number of shares of the 2 companies. Therefore, the answer is C. Question 19. The area of circle B is how many times the area of circle A? So we have area of B over area of A. And the formula for the area of the circle is pi r squared for B and pi r square for A. And the value of R for circle B is this. That's the area for circle B. And for A, we have pi squared. The pi and pi will cancel. And we can write in that form. So n and n cancel out. And 129 divided by 3 is 43. And we have square here. 43 times 43, we have 9. We have 12. We have 12. 4 times 4, 16 plus 1 is 17. So we have 9, 4, 8, 1. And the answer is right here. Let's move to the next one. Question 20 has a frequency table which summarizes data values. And they ask you what is the maximum data value in the data set. So this question, don't worry about the frequency. Just look at the data value column and see the biggest number. So in this column, the biggest number is 14, and the answer is 14. Let's go to the next one. Question 21, we have a circle in the XY plane, and we have a diameter with 2 endpoints, this one and this one. And we have a standard equation. If you wanted to visualize, let's draw a graph real quick. The center of the circle is 2, which is h on the x-axis, and 9, which is k on the y-axis. We have 2 and 9, which is around that area. And for the 2 endpoints, let's take this one, 2, which is right here, and 4 around here is that point. And the second endpoint, which is this one, is 2 and 14. And the circle is something like that. This is the diameter from here to here. here's 4 and here's 14. So 14 minus 4 is 10. Therefore, the diameter is equal 10. And the question asks the radius. So R is half of the diameter, which is 5. And that's the answer. And if you want to use the formula, R is equal, and R is equal to from here minus 2 from this endpoint, plus 9 from here minus from here, and R is equal 0 plus 5 squared. And the square root and this square will cancel, and R is equal 5. And that's the answer. Let's go to the next one. Question 22, we have two angles, R and T. And they ask the measure of T in degrees. Okay, so angle T is equal angle R plus 5 pi over 12 greater than the measure of R. So we're going to add 5 pi, and T is equal, the value of R is 2 pi over 3 plus 5 pi over 12. So we're going to take the common, which is 12. 3 divided by 12 is 4, times 2 is 8 pi, 5 pi. 8 plus 5 is 13. This answer is radian, so we're going to change to degrees. And to do that, we have to multiply 180 over pi. Pi and pi cancel out, and divided by 12 is 1, divided by 12 is 15. Okay, 15 times 13, that's 195 degrees. And the answer is right here. Okay, question 23 is conversion problem. So we're going to be converting from square mile to square yards. So it's converting from one unit to another. And they gave us that 1 mile is equal 1,760 yards. So we're going to square this side and this side. When we square 1,760, we're going to get 3,097,600 yards squared. So we have yards squared there. Okay, let's set up the conversion. We have been given 4.36 miles squared. 1 mile squared is equal this number. So 1 mile square is equal 3,097,600 yard squared. Mile square and mile square cancel out. And 4.36 times this number is going to give us 13,505,536 yard square. And the answer is right here. Question 24, they give you these values in the table. The first step, we're going to find the slope. And you know the formula for the slope is y2 is 160, y1 is 130. If you subtract 160 minus 130 is divided by 23 minus 18 is 5. And the slope is 6. Okay, next step, we need the y-intercept for line H. Y is equal the slope, which is 6x plus b, which is the y-intercept for line H. So let's substitute 130 for y and 18 for x. So we have 130 is equal 6 times 18 plus b. And we have 130 minus 6 times 18 is 108. If you take it over to the other side is minus 108 is equal b. And b is equal 22. That's the y-intercept for line H. Okay, so let's write down here line H. And equation for line H is y is equal 6 for the slope, x plus 22, which is b. We need to translate line H to get line K. Okay, we have a graph like this. So for line H, the y-intercept is 22. And here the statement says translating line H down 5 units in the xy plane. So we're going to move down 5 units, and 22 minus 5 is 17. So the new intercept for y in line K is 17. That means we subtract 5 from here. And the new equation for line K is y is equal 6x plus 17. That is line K. So we're going to find x value from line K. And we're going to put 0 for y, 6x plus 17. If you subtract 17 on both sides, you get 6x is equal negative 17. And the value of x is minus 17 over 6. And the value of y is 0. And the answer is right here. Okay, question 25. In the xy plane, the graph of the equation intersects the line y equals c. So what is the value of c? So they want to hear y-intercept. For this type of question, you can use the graphing calculator, but for now we can use the formula. The graph looks like this, and this point here, minus 100, which is on the y-axis. And the line touches the graph exactly 1 point at the vertex. And the vertex equation is x is equal minus b over 2a. And in this case, a is equal -1, which is the coefficient of the x squared. So we have -1 here, and b is equal to the coefficient of x, which is 9, and x is equal minus 9 over 2 times -1, and x is equal 9 over 2. We can substitute 9 over 2 into this equation. So we have y is equal minus 9 over 2 squared plus 9 times 9 over 2 minus 100. And y is equal minus 81 over 4 plus 81 over 2 minus 100. And we can take the common, which is 4 minus 81 plus 162 minus 400. 162 minus 81 is 81 minus 400 over 4. And that is negative 319 over 4. And the answer is right here. Question 26 is about substitution. And this question, you have to go through the multiple choice and see which one cancels out easier when you substitute. This one is easier because it has less numbers. And let's see, we have 2. So we have 2 here and 2 here. They can cancel out. So let's try that one. When we substitute this one and this one cancel out. So we have minus 3r plus, when we substitute 7 of 2, the 2 and 2 will cancel out. So we have only 7 there. For the y, we have r into y. So we have 3r. On the other side of the equation, we have 7. So this one and this cancel out. And we have only 7 here. On the other side, we have 7. So that one is true. The answer is right here. Let's go to the next one. We have a perimeter of an equilateral triangle is 624. And the height of this triangle is k square root of 3. Let's see what is the equilateral triangle. It looks like that. And all sides are equal. And all angles are 60. But they gave us another piece of information, which is k square root of 3. That tells us the triangle is split into 2. We have a right angle here and right angle this side. And here 60 and here 60. And the 60 on the vertex is split into 30 and 30. Now we have 2 triangles. Each one is 30, 60, 90 triangle. And 30, 60, 90 triangle has a property. We have 60-degree angle here. On the side opposite of that, which is this side on the right angle, so it's going to be k square root of 3. And the side opposite of the right angle is 2k. And this side is the same, which is going to be 2k. And the side opposite of the 30-degree angle is k, and this is k. So the perimeter, which is p, is equal 624. And the perimeter is the addition of all sides. So we have 2k and 2k, and these two together are 2k. It is 3 times 2k, which is 6k, is equal 624. And k is equal 104. And that's the value of k. And that's the last question of the test. Thank you so much. Please subscribe.